Our next speaker is the editor and publisher of the online food and culture magazine Scout, the weekly restaurant critic for WE newspaper, a contributor on food and restaurants to Western Living and Vancouver magazines, the editor of the Chef's Table Society's cookbook, Vancouver Cooks 2, a member of the Bocuse d'Or Advisory Council of Canada. He judges a number of culinary competitions annually, including Sea Choice, Chefs to the Field, and the Vancouver Gold Medal Plates, and is the national referee, because it gets crazy at those things, at the prestigious Canadian Culinary Championships. He's like, last time we met, he insisted our meeting be conducted as a stroll through Gastown. And here we were able to blend our topics with those that the neighborhood presented to us. I highly recommend the format, and I highly recommend Andrew Morrison.
Beer and an iPad. All right. Our restaurant scene, that's only I'm going to talk about that, has become one of the greatest and most diverse in the world in a very short time. Awesome for us. That's as amazing as it is awesome, especially considering the obstacles it has faced and still faces today. The last time I did PechaKucha, I talked about how that transformation came about, but now I'd like to talk about its current state of affairs, warts and all. We're weak at lunch. Restaurants in Toronto have an advantage over ours because they have more than 10 times the number of corporate head offices and fat cats to serve. That means hardly any of our most celebrated restaurants are open for lunch. Big deal. I mean, hotels, sure, but standalones like West, no. Silver lining, we get to contend ourselves with places like Medina, La Guianda, Meat and Bread, plus there's street food. We scored. For the past year and a half, a new wave of street food operators have been given an inch, and they've taken 100 miles. Despite a few mistakes here and there, City Hall deserves a lot of credit here. Their organization is solid, and the selection process for new operators is a total meritocracy, which means no absolute duds are going to hit our streets. Total win for Vancouver. A total fail for Vancouver. I don't know what to say about booze in BC that hasn't already been said. The way in which liquor is taxed and distributed here is just plain criminal. Slow down a little bit there, my friend. And the laws that control the where and when of how and what we drink are just stupid. The people who defend and uphold these laws are a danger to our society, and they must be stopped. So we'll pause that for a second. Meet the Parks Board. I'm not a fan of the Parks Board. They've set up terrible restaurants on the waterfront. Cactus Club just got English Bay. They had Watermark at Kitts Beach. These are iconic pieces of Vancouver real estate that we've lost to piece of shit restaurants. Coffee. Oh, the other thing is 25 kilometers of seawall, and we don't have any good restaurants on them. What the fuck? Coffee, we scored. Marché Saint-Georges, Revolver, Matchstick, that's good. I'm loving that. Elysian Room, Nelson the Seagull, as you see. Gastown has exploded, landing well over than 24 restaurants in just 5 years. The consequence of its awesomeness has been rent increases of upwards of 500%, not to mention seriously douchey weekends. No first-time restaurateur can now afford to open in Gastown, which means the chains are coming next. Too bad, but the ship has sailed. To many, a good restaurant on the downtown east side equals gentrification, but the gentrifiers here are mostly young people who've grown up in the restaurant business, former busboys and dishwashers who've clawed their way up. It's a shame that truth is seldom recognized. These people aren't the foot soldiers of Bob Remy. They're just scratching to make a living just the same as everyone else. Foo's Ho Ho and Gainois. This is a case in point versus Bao Bay. Bao Bay has been named one of the best new restaurants in the country, and despite being busted for unsanitary conditions, Gainois hasn't killed anyone yet. Foo's has good neon, but that's about it. The food is terrible and the service sucks. My point, they coexist. They can coexist. And if Bao Bay is gentrification, Fuck, I'm totally all for it. So who are these so-called gentrifiers? At Bow Bay, it's Tanis Ling, and then there's Roger Collins at Calabash, Mark Brand at Save on Meats and Bonita, the girls of Caddo, Paul Groomberg at Laboratoire, Robbie Kane of Medina, Josh Paper of The Diamond, Frankie Harrington of Meat and Bread, David Robertson of Dirty Apron, and more. But let's concentrate on these because they all have one thing in common. They've all come from Shambar. How crazy is that? They've all worked at Shambar. What do they put in the water there? Carrie and Nico Shermans are like the golden geeses of Vancouver, shitting out disciples that are just hell-bent on doing new and original things in risky locations. Case in point, I'm writing a story about these guys. This is Shambar alumni Josh Pape and James Aranzad of Abigail's Party. I actually was just in Los Angeles with them yesterday, tagging along. They were doing like a 60-course-a-day safari doing research for their new restaurant called Wildebeest. I'm telling you about it now because you're going to hear about it. I think it's going to be one of the craziest places we have in Vancouver. Their chef is fucking awesome. David Gunawan, formerly of West, high-end, going low-end. It's going to be totally carnivorous and wonderful. It's opening in the spring. This is Shaka Zulu. He's awesome too. I went to school in South Africa, and Shaka was one of my heroes. I have him up here to help illustrate Wildebeest's position. That's the name of the restaurant on Hastings, and those of other restaurants on the downtown east side. One of his military stratagems, you can see it there, that would be the chest of a bull's horns. So that would be the blocking position of Shaka Zulu's force when he would fight the English or the Mashona or the Sutu or whatever. And in that concentration, you've got the main restaurants of Gastown, Irish Heather. And you can see those, the left wing, that's the left horns. Those left horns have now gone through Alexander and Powell, Alibi Room, Two Chefs and a Table, Caddo, Cobre, all those wonderful places. And you see what they're doing here. They're avoiding the downtown east side. They're going around with a left hook, and now you see what's going on right here, up through Chinatown, Bow Bay, the Kiefer, London, Union, Dunleavy Cafe, all the way up Main Street, Campagnolo, and then they meet. Where do they meet? Right around, let's say the Waldorf. We could say Au Petit Chavignon. We could say Dunleavy Cafe. But my point now, like the Falaise Gap in 1944, the downtown east side has now been surrounded. No matter how many SROs there are, you can't legislate against a good wine list. People want to have a good dining experience if they can afford it. And the best restaurateurs are the ones who are just scratching for a living. Case in point, Fat Dragon. It's not open yet. It's not going to be open for another 4 months. But this is on the same block as Oppenheimer Park. And it's been, I mean, these are the guys who brought us Campagnolo, Refuel on West 4th, Campagnolo Roma on East Hastings. The guy's just had a stroke, 2 strokes. He's 38 years old. And he and his partner are still going forward, trying to build this thing. That's you. And I've got you out there because I want you to seek out originality. Innovation just isn't happening in Gastown on the downtown east side. So no matter where you live, I want you to reward those who stick their necks out. Fuck chains, man. Fuck chains. Fuck Earls. Eat independent. The best cities are made by those who show up for it.